Today's topic is about the rental market in 2022. And the rental market in 2022 here in Portugal is absolutely nuts. So my agents we have been dealing with a lot of rentals lately, and we have 3 packages now. We have the basic that doesn't include visitation, it's just support with sourcing and screening and legal. Then you have the premium that includes everything, including visitations and post-rental support like utilities and anything with appliances and that kind of thing. And then we have the Premium Plus that has an extended duration and also includes supports with visa documentation and any other situation that you need regarding the relocation process. So these are the 3 rental packages that we have at the moment. And like I was saying, the rental market is a bit nuts right now. So there is way more demand than there is offer. This was already the case before. It's just way worse now. Especially in Lisbon, it's completely crazy. We call my Lisbon agent is extremely efficient, and she is able to source things very well and go very fast to things. And if you don't close on the moment, 2 hours after, it's closed. If you don't say yes at the moment of visitation, your next hour, next half an hour, someone else took it. It's absolutely crazy. So that is something that if you are looking to rent, if you have that thing, or I hope I find something else better, you maybe, however, be aware that likely things are going to disappear and that option will no longer be an option. So if you decide to wait and try and see if you find something else interesting, the thing that you were exploring and visiting first is probably no longer going to be available. And this is not just in Lisbon. I think Porto is not as crazy right now, but we are doing a lot of rentals in Braga, and Braga is not at the Lisbon level, but it's not very far from the Lisbon level. It's pretty much the same thing. If you don't say yes right away after visitation, it's gone the next day. So this is a very common problem with rentals right now. So you have to understand that if you are looking for a rental during this phase, you either have to decide very quickly, or you have to have a very high budget, or you can't be very picky, because there isn't a lot of things on the market and there's people willing to pay a lot. And more we are seeing situations like bidding wars on rentals. This, honestly, last year we didn't see any of this, not even in Lisbon. And now we've come across several cases where the landlords just say, make an offer and we'll take whoever offers more. And I find this extremely unethical. However, it's happening. Another thing that it's important to mention, however, that has not changed, is that legally you cannot pay more than 3 months rent. And this is an unfortunate common thing, especially with expats, because there is no guarantees in Portugal. Landlords have this bad tendency of wanting to ask for a lot of months of rent or a lot of guarantee, and that's actually not even legal. Like I said, we include legal support on our packages, and I have a contract with a lawyer that reviews all contracts that go through us. And this is a very common problem. Illegal situations on rental contracts, both when it comes to the terms and when it comes to the number of deposits. Legally, by Portuguese law, you cannot ask for more than 3 rents in advance. However, you can ask for as much safety deposit as you want, as long as the other side accepts. Do remember that the safety deposit is only returned to you at the time you leave, after everything is being checked. And here in Portugal, because there is no such thing as a small claims court, it is very hard to get through a complaint on a rental situation to get your money back. So I advise everyone to, when you enter the apartment, take pictures of everything and register any pre-existing damage. And when you leave the apartment, do the same thing, so the landlord cannot claim there was damage. This is a very common problem, where there is minor damage and the landlord says they want to keep the whole deposit because, I don't know, a cupboard was scratched, I don't know, something like that. So you have to be careful about that, because here in Portugal the small claims court is a pain and it's very slow. So it's usually not worth it to go to court over small amounts, and people take advantage of this. So you want to be as safe as possible and as registered as possible, so there is no room for doubt when you are defending your own interests and saying that you made no damage to the said apartment. I was going to say something else relevant. Oh, another relevant thing is that lots of landlords ask for guarantors, and they usually ask for Portuguese guarantors, and this can be a very complicated thing for expats, obviously. There are two ways to go around this. One of them is to pay more rents, and the other one is to have a guarantor. And recently we established a protocol with an insurance company that is a service now. So basically you pay, you make an insurance and they serve as your guarantor. And the insurance is actually less than 5% of rent. So it's a very, in my opinion, it's a much better option than paying more rents, because that involves a lot of risk, especially on the tenant side. Like I said, it's very hard to get money back in Portugal. And we never recommend people to pay more than 5 months, and 5 months is already pushing it. The ideal is 3-4 months. And this situation with the insurance company is a great fix to the guarantor situation, at a much lower cost and much safer for both parties. So we are now establishing protocols with the insurance company in order to facilitate this for our clients too. And to explain things a bit from the landlord perspective, and then as a landlord myself, I understand why landlords are sometimes so complicated when it comes to guarantees. Here in Portugal, the rental law is that, let's imagine, if someone stops paying rent, you give them a written warning by letter. If they still don't pay after 30 days, you send them a second letter with the same written warning. And if another 30 days go by, you can initiate the kick out process. Well, there's probably a better name for that, but I can't think of one right now. So technically you only risk not having rent for 3 months, and thus the 3 months of advance rent by law. However, to initiate this process, you go to the police with the 2 letters you sent and proof that you received no payment, and the person, the police goes there and gives a warning to the person, and usually the person leaves. However, sometimes the person refuses to leave, and this will incur on a criminal record and possible pawns and takeovers of property and so on. However, if the person has nothing to lose and still choose to stay in said property, it is very, very, very hard to get them out. You need to initiate a court process, and with that court process, it takes years sometimes, and it also costs 2,000 euros. So not only are you losing on the rent, you have to pay the court and pay the lawyer to get the person out. So obviously the landlords are trying to be as safe as possible, and they ask for a Portuguese guarantor and proof of income or proof of estate and those kinds of things, because they give guarantee that if the person stops paying, it's unlikely they won't leave, and you have to go through the court process because they have something to lose. So that's the thinking on the landlord side. Another concern on the landlord side is obviously the damage. That's why the safety deposit is, of course, but the situation is pretty much the same. It's very hard to sue someone for damage. So if the damage goes over the deposit asked, it's very complicated for the landlord, and well, it ends up just being a loss for them. So that is how things go from a landlord perspective. And for the same reason, landlords are often not comfortable with pets, and it's very, very hard to find rentals, especially with dogs. Cats are easier, but dogs, especially big dogs, make it very, very hard to find rentals. It's actually not illegal to refuse a tenant because they have a pet, and it's completely up to the owner. So that makes the situation much harder when it comes to finding rentals. So now I'm going to talk a bit more about how things are on each city. Obviously, the most expensive city is Lisbon, and things are absolutely nuts in Lisbon. You will find 1-bedroom apartments at 1,000 euros. You will find 2-bedroom apartments at 3,000 euros. It's completely nuts from a local perspective, as our salaries are under 700 euros, and it is obviously creating a lot of gentrification, but it is what it is, and there is, like I said, more demand than is offer, so this is not going to calm down probably, and because there is a huge trend of immigration from wealthier countries, there are people willing to pay, so it's a free market. It is what it is. In other cities, things are considerably better. In Porto, I would say you can find a 1-bedroom apartment starting from 500 euros, although that's hard. Probably 600 to 700 is a safer budget. And 2 bedrooms go 800 to 1,000, probably a bit more if you want something with very specific requirements and luxury finishings. So things are much more affordable in that way. And then cities like Braga and Aveiro are just a tone under Porto because they are very high demand, but not as inflated yet. So I would say take 100 or 200 euros off the same numbers of Porto, and that will give you more or less the numbers for those cities. And if you are willing to go to much smaller cities where there is much less demand, there is also, of course, less offer, but you will be able to find better prices. If you want to have a rental, please be aware that because of how the market is, the offer, it's mostly ready to move in. So if you are, I don't know, looking for something on May, but you only want to come in August, either you are willing to pay these months in between, or you won't be getting it. That's just how it is. And although rentals can be fast if you find something that you like right away and you close it right away, it's better to give it about a month for the rental process. So if you want to work with us, the ideal is to contact us about 1 to 2 months before the date that you want to start your rental contract. Of course, if you want to do other things like visas and so on, it may be suitable to start the process prior to that, but take that into consideration on the package duration. So for example, the basic package has a duration of 1.5 months of service, the premium has up to 3 months, and the premium plus has up to 6 months of service. So take that into consideration when choosing the package you want to use. Like I was saying, smaller locations have a more interesting offer. However, there is more interesting prices. However, there is a lot less offer. So you probably want to give it a bit more time when you want to do your search, especially if you have very specific requirements. Obviously, our rental service is not a full-time service for our agents. So each agent has several clients, and they won't be working on each individual client 24/7. Often when the clients have their own free time and their own things to look for, they can end up finding things faster than our agents because they just have more of their own time available. And our process works both ways. So the client can send things and we can send things. It goes both ways, and we give a lot of support either way, because then we will do all the contacts, we'll do all the screening, we will do all the negotiation, we will do all the legal verification. So you shouldn't think that we aren't doing our jobs because you were the one who found the listing. That's not the case at all. A lot of what we do comes after the listing, but another big advantage of working with us is that we also tap into our off-market network, and we will go into our own channels, and sometimes they are not as fast as the market availability. Sometimes they will, I don't know, take 1-2 weeks for our own contacts to come back to us when we make a request, but very often we find things off market through our own networks. So that's also a case. Just you do need to be a bit patient when it comes to that kind of things. That's a very big culture clash, especially from clients from the US, is that things in Portugal are slow. Everything is slow, except of course the pace of the market, the rental market, but everything else is slow when it comes to bureaucracy, to replies, to service, and so on and so forth. Our packages from the premium on also include support with the the utilities and so on. So we also help you connect everything, and if you want to, add some appliances, we help you with getting to the right places and making the calls and all of that. So, I'm talking a lot. I think I more or less mentioned everything relevant about rentals. I forgot to say in the beginning that you are always free to make questions. If I see them during the live, I will answer them live as soon as I can. If they are on topic, if they are off topic, I will come back at the end and give the answer. You can always watch these on replay. If you are watching these on replay, feel free to let us know by leaving a hashtag replay. And if you watch this on replay and have any questions, please still ask them, and someone on my team will come back to us. We always make an effort to reply to every comment. And do check our other videos. We try to always give a lot of relevant and useful information. We are both on Facebook and YouTube when it comes to videos. Then we have our website, www.savvycatrealty.com. And we are also on LinkedIn and Twitter, so lots of things for my content manager to do. I think that I more or less went through everything relevant for the market in 2022. If I forgot something, do let me know in the comments. This week I won't be making a live. I think that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to hear back from you all soon. And I'll probably be live again in 2 weeks. See you!